Va salute. This is Troy Pacelli of Last Call, and I'm just here to let you know that the following live stream is rated R for adult language, highly inappropriate jokes, and oh, who the are we kidding? We have no idea what is going to come out of Gorilla's mouth. Viewer discretion is advised.
Kick back, light up, let the good vibes flow. It's Gorilla Cigar Lounge, the place to go. Politics, nerds, and the good old days. Grab your drink, join the talk, let's set it ablaze. Welcome to the lounge where the smokes rise high, where we talk what matters, no sugar, no lie. From galaxy far away to the world outside, Gorilla Cigar Lounge where legends reside. Starships and memories, debates get real. We're saving the world with a mic and some seal. Laughs and wisdom, we're bringing the heat. So pull up a chair, you're in for a treat. Welcome to the lounge where the smokes rise high, where we talk what matters, no sugar, no lie. From galaxy far away to the world outside, Gorilla Cigar Lounge where legends reside. Starships and memories, debates get real. We're saving the world with a mic and some seal. Laughs and wisdom, we're bringing the heat. So pull up a chair, you're in for a treat. Welcome to the lounge where the smokes rise high, where we talk what matters, no sugar, no lie. From galaxy far away to the world outside, Gorilla Cigar Lounge where legends reside. So spark up that stove, let's start the show. At Gorilla Cigar Lounge, let the conversation flow.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another Cigar Lounge. Where tonight, me and Curtis are going to discuss a lot of this bullshit that's spreading on X like a fucking wildfire. And I'm starting to get convinced more and more of it's fucking just CIA bots.
Well, you know, my evil plan is coming into fruition, and soon I shall rule the world.
Well, Project Prometheus will help you with that. Speaking of Project Prometheus, we got LDG also here.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Long time, been a minute.
Yeah. So let's say hey to our chat here real quick. He says, "Welcome to Curtis Fact Check." He goes, "Have fun." Oh, this ought to be fun.
Yes, indeed.
I've been prepared for this whole day while I was getting my ass chewed out all day. So,
what's been going on?
Work stuff I'm not going to talk about online.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know who's listening.
That's true. Yeah, it's always smart not to complain too much about work online. Yeah.
So, welcome, Sci-Fi Sit Down. Welcome. Welcome, Basil Battle Dragon. He goes, "Hail the great gorilla." And welcome, Mikey Sue4. He's saying hello. He's calling us brothers from another mother.
Yes.
Then everybody saying hi to. It's just gonna be us tonight there. And hey, Scurvy goes hi, misinformed fruitcakes.
That's what my liberal friends call me anymore.
Yeah. And hey, Jerm, how's it going? Yeah. So on the panel, we have a missing link, a golden foot man, and Curtis.
Yep.
You got LDG, he knows bots. Mm-hmm. And hey, Charlotte, how's it going?
Speaking of bots, can we use these bots for our own malevolent ends instead of just suffering them?
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, and Mike, this is a thing me and Chris were talking about for a few days of just doing a collab here, and so we can keep everything on target and all that. And that's all. I might do another cigar lounge tomorrow though, where I'll be opened up. Now, Chris, you've been seeing all this stuff here about Tesla and all that. The one thing that's been pissed me off about this is they've all been saying, "Oh, it's protests, so protests. You guys are threatening to lock people up for 20 years for protests." No, we're threatening to lock you up for 20 years for blowing up an entire dealership.
Well, I've got a few things here. Yeah. I know, and now, of course, this is on Twitter, so maybe this isn't misinformation, but Elon Musk has shared, first of all, there are no cuts to Medicaid, Social Security, or other entitlements.
Yeah.
And this is what it looks like. Medicaid cuts killed me. RIP measles outbreak. I don't see it here, but this person is claiming that the protesters held up signs urging for Elon Musk to be shot and for more Tesla property to be firebombed.
Yeah, and see, and a lot of people they're comparing it to they say, oh, January 6th you get pardoned, but you protest outside of Tesla dealership, you get thrown in jail. No, they're arresting the people blowing up. Now, I don't think you should get 20 years for keying a swastika into the side of a Tesla.
Well, same here.
I think 2 years
that's
for that.
Ridiculous.
I was thinking like 2 years, that maybe get out after a year if you actually behave yourself in the prison.
I don't even think should be that much. Like,
well, if you blow up the dealership there with like 20 some cars, yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about keying, not blowing up shit. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, whatever the regular penalty is for keying a car, which I have no idea what it is, that's probably what it should be here. But no, this is to me the same thing that they did back in 2019 and 2020. And please feel free to disagree with me, LDG, but they had quote unquote peaceful protests back in 2019, which involved fire and looting and people disappearing and being killed. And
then the summer of love.
Yeah, and then we had January 6th, which I'm not going to say was a great thing, but it really wasn't as bad as those things. But we're going to treat that like, those are the horrible, horrible people.
Oh, that pissed me off when they're trying to say that January 6th was worse than 9/11 and Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm sorry. If you want to say it's a big bad deal, I can listen to that, but we had one fatality, and that's unfortunate, but that's not thousands of people perishing.
All right, so not an app, loving this, enjoy. Protests don't usually involve firebombing unless you're a leftist, of course. Yeah, exactly. Screw Medicaid and screw anybody who refuses to try to work again. I'm walking proof of the ability to work under grievous medical and physical issues. Well, this depends on what your condition is. If you can get back to work, great. But my mom, there's no way she can work. She doesn't know crap about computers and that. She can't drive. She's stuck in a wheelchair and all that. So, there.
Curtis Fact Search is watching us on a couple of channels. Thank you very much, kind sir.
Well, thank you. And
I'm hoping that I'm streaming on Rumble, but I'm not sure if I am.
Are they only getting less than a year? Okay. Wife are happily retired. Curtis Fact Search there. So there you are. Well, Medicare is for the retireds. Medicaid is for your disability and or your very low income people. Also, screw anybody who doesn't try to get off of Medicaid. None of the protests are peaceful. The fatality was not against the cops either.
That is, yeah, that's the other controversial thing, because there was a cop who passed away because of a heart attack, and then there's the controversy. Well, he wouldn't have had the heart attack. Well,
Oh,
but,
if you're talking about Brian Sicknick that had
yeah,
the stroke,
yeah, stroke. That's right. I'm sorry.
yeah, a stroke and a brain aneurysm, but there, so
Yeah, CODIS Fact Search knows what it's really like to work with these difficulties. He had to learn to walk again, learned an entire new profession in his late 40s. I can never pronounce the thing that he's got, but it's like really serious bad stuff. Anyway.
yeah. Yes.
What do we know about the USAID?
Well, I know, I actually we were actually having this discussion on Salty Truckers channel the other day, or like a couple weeks ago, and we're talking about this. He's trying to say $1 million, but that's nothing to our budget. That's we have a budget in the trillions. Okay, $1 million here and there, not a problem. But we got 100,000 fucking special projects there. That fucking adds up. So take 1 million times 100,000. What's that? I don't even know. I could run my calculator here real quick.
Calculator.
That's, yeah,
something like that. 1 million times 100,000.
I'm just throwing numbers out. Oh, okay, that's 100 trillion. But okay, let's just go with let's backtrack to the 10,000 projects. That's $10 trillion right there, over years, but like my perfect example here is how easy, if you guys had a special project you're passionate about, how hard would it be to really raise $70,000 for the project?
Well, for us, it would be, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with Prometheus. And it's not, you said 70,000?
Yeah. There's a
that's a lot easier, but
there's a specific reason I picked that number.
If no one hears you, then, no one's going to donate. Like, the problem is you might have the best idea in the world, but, people who are, putting out trash content, they're the ones getting the views right now, not the people actually doing genuine stuff. So if you get people seeing you and you strike the right rhythm and you have an easy way for people to donate, that's important too. Then yeah, you could pull that money. You got to have a strong message. You got to make it easy for people to support, and you got to fight the the binds the ties that bind you on your algorithms, and look at Twitter right now. YouTube,
I wasn't even specifically talking about like for channel raising money. I'm talking about like even like with the GoFundMe, because like they said $70,000. Yeah, maybe in our budget that don't sound much, but that's 15 years worth of taxes for me going to fund what an LBGTQ whatever the fuck the rest of the thing is play in Ireland. First of all, how the fuck does it cost that much? Second of all, why should my tax dollars, 15 years worth of my tax dollars, go to pay for that? That's just like what I would be paying into it. Why should we be funding $30,000 to some trans comic book in Peru? Where's the funding for? I know a few people in our community trying to make comic books. Where's their $30,000? And hey, Outlaw Bill, how's it going?
Outlaw Bill, howdy.
Hey, Bill.
It's just,
yeah. Well, even if you got to GoFundMe, you still got to promote it. It's not like they just get automatically seen.
Yeah, no, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? With 70, just that wouldn't be that hard to raise that money, for if people are truly passionate about the project, they actually want to go to it, you know, and see it,
Yeah.
you know, or
Yeah.
I'll probably it'd probably take me 20 years to even if that's not spending a dime to see $1 million. Well, some gal over that lives over in DC there, she got $1 million to go show urinals to women in Afghanistan. Go show pictures of urinals.
No, that's legitimate art.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Resolute Germ says USAID is officially scheduled to be dismantled, and Curtis Fact Search says goodbye USAID, or actually it's UN
Yeah.
AID, and that the stroke was all the police officer, and I don't know that, but it's
yeah. Well, it
I
wasn't
don't
even his
think it
first
can be
stroke.
compared.
Well, it wasn't even his first stroke. He said he had one before. It looks like it's a new. And I'll be having an open panel tomorrow there, Bill. Or I'll try to. Exactly. The stroke was all him. Unless you really want to open this up, as long as people stay on topic.
That's fine with me, but
All
yeah,
right.
I
Okay.
You know, if we
All right.
want to keep it down to 2 hours.
Yeah, but we want to stay on topic. Here's the link, but we got to keep it on topic.
Curtis Fact Search, it was his fault. He was unhealthy, dude. Another reason why he's Curtis Fact Search is pushing to get back into shape. And yeah, good on you for that.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm drinking juice here tonight. Now, I might have a little vodka in it so I can stomach the juice, but
I'm drinking water tonight. They had me running all over yet again today, but then I had a cancellation last minute. So
yeah, don't let Jesus in here because it'd be like water. Holy crap! Wine, get your wine. Hey, Jedi Bill, how's it going? Or dead name. Sorry, dead name. Outlaw Bill. Sorry, dead name. Outlaw Bill. How's it going? Oh, he's shooting me because I didn't.
Well, now that Gorillas is gone, Outlaw, you want to take over?
Wait a minute. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
USAID. We're talking about the bullshit funding that USAID, in which people are arguing on that there's legitimate functions USAID. Yeah, it's a CIA front to start with, but it's
Michael.
But
hey, hello, fellow haters of finance. Welcome.
Yeah,
hey, Muggy.
But any critical functions of USAID here got switched over to the State Department so they could just close it down and save us a shit ton of money just on
I don't know about AID, but I got ADD and STD. No. Wait a minute, that was a long time ago. I could. Hey, I still have Asperger's, so you ask anyone. I'm nuts.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo.
Yeah. And hey, DJ.
DJ Ronnie G.
Thank you.
Keyboard.
Yes.
It seems to me like USAID, from the things I've been hearing, it sounds like that should have been something that A, democracy should have had a point in, and B, it should have been funded by the people. Like maybe something where you let the people donate and then you let the people decide where the money goes. Because it doesn't sound like any of that stuff was anything strategic to the government.
Oh, well,
yeah, I don't know if that's true, Sir Lemon.
What it is since the United States hardly produces anything anymore, not close to what we used to produce, we send our money overseas, to all these pet projects, and they use our money, so that our money retains value. But the problem is, okay, we'll send you guys $5 million here. Well, they may only use 1 million of it. Then the 4 million goes into another project, then to another, and and somehow it all winds back to these Democratic, to like Act Blue and these Democratic little people. It's like after it's been laundered like eight times there. That's what's going on now. Gen X Talks actually had put it good on how it's going, and the people who are screaming the loudest are the ones that are getting the most money.
I bet.
Like,
And have a good evening, Codis Fact Search.
Yeah, take care,
yeah,
Cody.
good
Let me
night
ask
there.
the question. Yeah, if I may, Gorilla, let me ask the question of the panel. In all the times I lived in the United States, and now I've been in Canada for almost 8 years, but in all the time I was in the United States, the one thing that got to me all the time was the $1 trillion+ debt, which they say, and I'm saying both parties in this case are responsible. They said that every once in a while they'd make cracks in it. Well, I didn't see cracks. I saw maybe little fissures here and there, but they never resolved that problem. So how are they gonna reduce the debt? I mean, come on. I know Trump is a businessman, and that's fine.
Well,
I mean, he's got plans. He's got these fallacies. He wants to cut into the debt. He wants to cut into the overspending. But honestly, like he was even here one time already. He tried it already, and it didn't work. So
well, he's learned.
how are we going to resolve a debt like this? Honestly, because it kills everybody. It affects everyone.
Well, actually, Joe Biden winning actually was kind of a blessing because it woke a lot of people up. But he learned a lot of lessons. He had 4 years to think on those lessons he learned.
Well, for one thing, he hasn't surrounded himself as badly with deep state shills this time around.
But I would like to see a significant. But you do understand what I'm saying, guys. I want a significant, even though I'm watching, so to speak, from the sidelines up here in the Great White North. I'm trying to understand it, how you're supposed to break down a huge debt, and you know what I mean, because I understand what debts are. Okay, if you owe somebody money, you pay them back. You pay them back no matter what, with interest if it's needed. Yeah, with interest, and if it's needed. But see, the United States has been gathering this $1 trillion. Oh, God, tell me how long, LDG? It's been a long time. Very long time.
Longer than we've been alive.
Everything's going downhill with the creation of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. Which is
it's very simple. You make more money than you spend. I mean, that's the answer.
Yeah.
It's just, can you make more money, enough more money to counterbalance, what is it, like $63 trillion or something?
No, 36, but they took away the thing there that said like unrealized expenditures. That we were talking about this on Chris's channel a couple months ago.
Curtis, where do we stand? Here are our numbers, brother. Where do we stand as far as the debt goes?
Well, let's take a look at the douche clock.
Okay.
See what we got.
Well, he's pulling that up. Mikey, you want to read this one?
Mikey will be on to provide the pro-Trump. Are you smoking some shit again? Let me know, okay? Damn it.
Coast has to go, but here's his channel, so make sure to check him out. And this is how you do it, Mikey. One bullshit project at a time. Yeah, because like we don't need the because don't tell me. Okay, on the list of countries, which one do you think would not spend the money on gender studies? What would be your top 10?
Here we go.
I think Pakistan. Okay, I got. Okay, so we're 36 million trillion or $36.6 trillion in debt officially.
Mm-hmm.
Officially, okay.
All right, our deficit there is at 7. But I gotta pull up Germ's thing here. And hey, Greg, how's it going?
Yeah. Really great is to buy Greenland.
Yeah, they totally revamped this, so they changed the shit ton of this here.
According to this, and of course, I know it's arguable whether it's accurate, but Doge has saved $2,397 per taxpayer.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is that's how much bullshit they found in the thing, but it's not
Yeah.
our actual savings.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the money was already spent and sent out, but that's how much crap. Because like they sent like $10 million to Pakistan for gender studies. Now don't give me the bullshit that they're gonna spend that money on gender studies. That Pakistan that falls under the list of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran. They're not gonna send Egypt. Yemen, they're not going to spend that money on that.
Yeah. Yeah, Lemon Pie, I know that everyone here on the panel knows where they were when they officially announced that the debt hit $1 trillion. I can guarantee
when the debt hit $1 trillion, I don't even think I was swimming in my dad's ballsack yet.
Oh, you weren't even alive yet? Gorilla, you're behind the times. You got to catch up.
He's a young
It's been $1 trillion in my lifetime.
Here, I'll see when it did. Yeah. I remember when they said when they did that $700 million bailout, everybody was talking about how big of a deal that was in was that 2007?
Yeah, 2009, 2008.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about how big the $700 million package was. It's game changing, but then now $700 million is not even dropping the bucket. What some of these now we have like $1.9 trillion packages.
Yeah,
it's 42 years ago today. Yeah, I wasn't even swimming in my dad's ballsack yet.
You weren't even in your mom's. You weren't even in your mom's eye at that point.
Lemon Pie says it makes sense to cut any foreign aid.
Yeah. All right. So,
I'd cut all foreign aid. I'm serious as a heart attack.
Oh yeah, I would too. He goes, buy Gorilla and flip it to cover the debt. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah.
And Lemon says, I remember the debt hit was considered disturbing at the time.
Yeah, even Resolute Jen said is when it officially started, 1981. It crossed $1 trillion, and guess who was in office then? Our friend and actor, Mr. Ronald Reagan himself. So, you were in trouble even back then.
Vomiting noises is why I didn't read the full comment.
All right, I'm going through the chats right now here. Matt Arnold says, hello, everyone. Welcome, Matt Arnold.
Hello, Matt.
Yeah, it makes sense to cut any foreign aid, and that does not make sense, but it was 12% only the budget in 2024.
No,
people have a false idea of cutting it to it's zero. Yeah, 81 across the trillion. I was a kid when it hit $1 trillion. Yeah, you didn't read the full comment there, Curtis. And it's at the
I was just saying, hey, how's it going, sit down? I was saying that I was only 16 when it hit $1 trillion. I thought, that's ridiculous. I remember my dad, when they were reporting it on the news, the couple words I will never forget to this day, but my dad said 2 words, completely ridiculous. And then he said, I blame both parties for this.
Yeah, both parties are.
And that's it, both parties. 100%. So, yeah, he wasn't just set on one, he said both. So, and I said, but Dad, that's been going on for years. So it's way long time ago. Like even before the First World War, like all of it. So, we've been gathering money like that. I think one thing that was a bad thing back then, and I still debated about it, was the Lend-Lease Act. I think that was stupid. And I don't think we should have ever. I mean, I know we couldn't avoid the war. I understand that. That was World War II.
Well,
but at the same time, I was like, you can't give this much money to countries and expect, them to resolve
we got shit
everything.
back. We got shit back from that, though.
But some. Not a lot, though, Gorilla. We didn't get a lot of it back. Some, but not a lot.
Someone refresh my memory. Wasn't Trump not even a Republican at first?
He was not.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. That's true.
Trump was a Democrat for most of his life.
And they kicked him out or something, or they didn't want him, and then he ended up going and winning the Republican primary or something.
No.
the Democrats went so freaking nuts that he switched parties. Yeah.
And
But-
Mikey,
It's not bad things.
and Mikey,
Yeah.
I would say this, that the devaluation of the dollar started long before. It started when FDR decided to take us domestically off the dollar in the 1940s to allow the government to print money to give the large corporations enough money to,
Well, that was
to
70s.
kickstart
That was under
kickstart
Nixon.
their economies.
That was
Yeah.
under Nixon.
Yes, but FDR did it too in the early days too, though.
No, FDR, what he did was round up all the gold. He could only keep what was it, 5 ounces at most?
Something like that. I can't remember the amount though, but
Yeah. No, but yeah, so but so yeah, with USAID, all that, anything that was considered priority or proper or within the function that was necessary there, that all just got switched to the State Department. That's all under Marco Rubio now. So I'm glad that USAID is gone.
yeah, me too. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but if you can name me a positive thing it was doing, just any positive thing that it was doing.
Oh yeah, it was spreading American democracy to foreign countries.
Yeah, tell me how that worked out in Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Iran, Yemen. What's that other one that they?
I'll pull this
Well,
one
don't
down.
forget, Gorilla, that most people in the Middle East consider us despots. They call us Satanists. I mean, they call us every mean thing in the book. You don't think they're going to actually decide to take money from us? They think that we're evil people? I mean,
No,
come
if we give them money with those strings attached, they're gonna spend it, which
Yeah.
is not what it's designated for. And we
Here's
know
how-
that.
Right.
Here's how the dollar is devalued since 1910.
I'm gonna argue that probably 1913.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. This is basically, it's always kind of fluctuated and always would, but yeah. And you notice there's a pretty sharp drive, right? Like you said, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, that's when it really started to go nuts. So.
Yeah. All right, so Basil's asking Older how he's doing. Switch to the Dragon Army to save money. Only cost for food and spices. I'm doing good, Basil. How about yourself? The Germ said Lend-Lease was completely repaid even by the Russians. It was the Marshall Plan that wasn't repaid. I'm not. Which one was the Marshall Plan?
Okay, the Marshall Plan. Yeah.
Well,
you want me to say it or you, Dan?
I will. But you probably we're not on it with me, Mikey. But from what I know and from history and all that, the Marshall Plan was a recovery plan that one of the U.S. Army generals passed to try and get Western Europe back on their feet by giving them massive loans or massive
we
discounts.
paid to rebuild Europe. Okay,
Yes.
now I know which one. We paid to that's part of the reason we're such debt. We go blow a bunch of shit up, pay to rebuild it just to blow it up again.
That's how we were able to fund our armies on two fronts, on the the tripartite pact against them, and then on the east front there in Europe, and then how we were able to cover our if we had any losses, we were able to cover them against the Japanese on the other side. But afterwards, the Marshall Plan wasn't thought through thoroughly. I believe it was meant for recovery mostly, but then some of those countries said, but is this like, do we get to borrow this money that you want to, especially in Germany? Because don't forget, you had Berlin, which was divided into sectors. Okay, it wasn't just one city; it was a sector of the city, and the Western Allies who said, okay, excuse me, now that we defeated the Germans, now we have this problem with the Russians, communism. What are we going to do about those guys? And in trying to rebuild what was left of the ashes of several German cities, by the way, and a lot of other places. They were trying to say, okay, well, here, let's give this money. We'll put it on a plan, and we'll help you rebuild your roads, rebuild your factories, do all this stuff. But at the same time, we expect something in return, in recompense. But in the whole scheme of things, the countries that were being helped out said, "Oh no, you're just lending this to us. We're borrowing this, and we'll pay it back when we can." And yeah, that turned into a lot of chaos. Obviously.
Well, I would say this, but they probably paid us by having us do their military, just basically being their military watchdog or guard dog from Russia during the Cold War era, probably.
Yeah. Bill, did you want to say something?
No, I gotta run. Sorry.
Oh, you gotta run. All right, promote
everybody hit that thumbs up.
Yeah, promote yourself.
Hey there, Bill. There you go.
Promote yourself before you go.
What?
Good to see you, bud.
Promote yourself before you go.
You know who? Yeah, I know who I am. I'm the outlaw Bill. Nobody can kill me.
Yeah. Make sure to check out Outlaw Bill.
And I keep rocking and rolling and reeling and dealing and running from the law.
Yeah. Make sure to check out his karaoke.
Leaving bodies in my wake. So stay tuned. Check my channel out. We've got some videos coming out about some westerns and all types of films and all other stuff. And then the Sports Network will be back. So see ya.
Yeah. Don't forget the karaoke streams. Those are always a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Later.
Yeah. See ya.
Later, Gator.
Bye.
All right. So it seems like Jerv says no one ever repaid $1 of the Marshall Plan. Yeah, go figures.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we're gonna move on to our other topic I wanted to talk about tonight was the dismantling of the Department of Education. I know the one thing that I've noticed on Twitter, a lot of people are finding that, oh, no one's going to get their school lunches anymore. It's going to cut the school lunch programs, and it's going to cut student loans. Well, first of all, the student loan thing is a fucking disaster. I actually agree with Tim Pool on how they should handle the student loan debt, and maybe you guys have a better idea, but he says forgive the interest on that debt, but make the people repay the principal that they borrowed. So technically, we're not going to be losing $1, just what's been devalued by our Congress. Assholes.
Well, I dealt with it on my brother and I have already dealt with it on a level. So as one of my sisters, we all went to college. 3 of the 4 of us went to college. One didn't go, but she had her own ways of making ends meet, going through banking in college, and she works in a bank. But my sister and then the 2 of us, we both had loans of some kind. I always the first thing I tried out for was Pell Grant. Couldn't get it. So then I decided, okay, because I guess, well, first of all, they were giving this bullshit saying my grades weren't great enough and all this other stuff. I said, well, I think that's crap, but no, fine, whatever. So, I went into it and did the loans. My brother, who ended up, getting a few college degrees, he went and got loans. He's still paying for them as far as I know. And my other sister who went through it, I think she's already absolved her debt. I'm not quite sure about that. But yeah, they weren't a good idea at the time. But the thing was, if you didn't have the loan, you couldn't pay for your housing on campus. You couldn't pay for your meals. You couldn't pay for, your books. You couldn't pay for anything. That's where I went to Arizona State University did. They allowed those loans to pay off for studies. You were getting these loans so that you could go and get an education, get your degree, so to speak, and then go ahead and pay it back the way that you were supposed to. That whole thing was a shit show from the very beginning. Well, and I didn't even realize it until it was almost too late. So, but I didn't solve my debt. I paid back my.
Well, what happened with the government getting involved? It just skyrocketed the cost of the school.
I think Gorilla, that you got a point. Yeah, I think you got a good point because I think that the government should have just avoided it. I think it should have stayed at the local university level. I think it should have stayed with the state of Arizona itself because they could have handled it. I mean, why would you have the federal government involved in a plan that initially from the get-go, if you looked at it on paper, it was fine. It was how it was able to help these students. The fact was, though, that most became foreign students. So when the foreign students came in, then the government said, oh, wait a second. These people from outside of the state are wanting to, then it became a real crap show. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah,
That's in my experience. That's what I dealt with.
Yeah, Curtis, I know you probably have something to say on the Department of Education being dissolved.
Well, I know that Reagan gave a great speech way back in the 60s. And part of that speech was he was talking about how and of course this is before the Department of Education, but he was talking about all the money that the federal government spends on education could send, I can't remember, it was a huge number of students through a 4-year Harvard education at the time, which begs the question, we're spending enough money to send kids to Harvard, but yet they're sitting in squalid tenements and getting no textbooks, and teachers are paid squat. What the heck is going on with the money?
Yeah.
And I would suggest that the Department of Education is only a slightly better hid version of USAID. Money that's supposed to go to the schools is going to God knows what.
Yeah.
And go for it.
Oh, I was just about to say, welcome Darkwoods Presents. I know he's a co-host on the live streams there.
Hey, how the heck are you doing?
No, but the problem. All right, here, let me ask you a question. Say you're head of a project at your workplace there. You got a budget of say $100,000, but you only spent $20,000 of that towards the project, and the rest went to administrative fees. Your administrative costs of administrating the program. How well do you think that would go over?
I think my bosses would love it because no, I'm just being sarcastic. No, I mean, absolutely. The money should be going toward what it was allocated for. If I pocket $80,000 and they come to me and ask, well, why did you only spend $20,000 on this? And now we're so far behind and nothing's happening, and this project looks like it's about to fail, and our competition's getting ahead of me. They're not gonna give like the excuse of, well, I needed a new BMW. I can't drive up here and look like a big pile of crap. So, but for some reason in Washington, it works opposite. It's like bizarro world, us hates justice, us loves crime. And, instead of Superman running around saving the world, he's robbing banks and committing acts of terrorism and stuff. It's really bizarre. But no, essentially, I have friends that are teachers, and they are very split. The ones that, the ones on one side are obviously thinking, well, now they're screwed because Oklahoma is all backward, and they're going to make us, teach from Bibles, and it's just going to be like Sharia law, only Christian instead. And then you have people on the other side, and I do tend to agree with them. The Department of Education hasn't done one thing to help the teacher in the last 50 years. Or however.
And that is obviously evident, Curtis. Like I said, my brother Phil and my other sister I talked about, Bernadette, they're both teachers, and they have both suffered trying to teach what they know, and they're very knowledgeable people. Okay, I love my family.
Right.
Even my sister who decided to become a banker. I love my family, and they have done their absolute best in the years that they've been teaching. And even my brother was a principal of some kind. He was a principal of his own school. He was an assistant principal. He even realizes that per se, the Department of Education does not take care of the people who are truly there to educate the future of our society. They just don't care. And it's kind of, I compare it, this is my best metaphor. I compare it to having a gun and flames, and then, to booster and to bolster people. And instead they have rocks and stones.
Yeah.
Well,
that's it. So,
well, problem with the Department of Education is they think, oh, just throw more money at it. Well, more money doesn't help if you're not solving the problem, because I can't remember which year was it, but they spent like $250 billion on the Department of Education, but only $24 billion of that actually went towards educating the students. So where did that other 210 or 200 whatever
226 or billion,
whatever it is, 200 some billion dollars? Where else did that go? Where the fuck did it go?
Yeah, who took over? That's a great question, Gorilla, and I have no answer. I really don't. I have no. I can't for the life. Well, even like I said, even my brother and my sister can't explain it. It's like, you're supposed to help us. We're teaching the future of your society, and you're supposed to help us out here, and we're getting nothing or next to nothing. It's like a pittance. And they keep it. They're like Oliver. They're going like, "Please, sir, may I have some more?"
And
I do have a question. Like, what was the Department of Education originally set up for? Like, what was it originally set up for? What was it?
I think it was to consolidate and get all the students. I think the reason they used was to consolidate all the education into a federal program, so that there was standardized schooling across the board in all states and some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But
I think June 24 pretty much accurately describes it later on in the chat here when you get it.
Let's catch up on chats real quick. Let's see. It was to understand keeping the Western Europe from communism. Yeah, exactly. They're trying to prevent the domino effect. And student lunch programs are run by our state run. Yeah. But the federal student lunch program is now getting directed to they're not getting rid of the student lunch program, to help poor students get fun. That's going to the HHS there. And student loans are going to the State Department. Everything else can get fucking washed away. And thank you all. Greg telling everybody to like and subscribe. Darko saying, hey, everybody. And Curtis, sorry, you didn't realize you got interrupted. Well, sometimes on these streams, you just kind of got to butt your way in, too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Darkwood said, I got a scholarship to Spark Grant for National Science of Athletics Access. Well, that's good. Good. You worked, you busted your ass, you got the grant. That's great. I'm happy for you. You got that. I'm glad you got your schooling for cheap there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna immigrate to Mars. That money is never going to be paid back. Now, is that a real saying, you're going to immigrate to Mars, or is that getting the Democrats, like all the Democrats saying that they're going to move to Canada but never did?
Now, if you runs into those Mars attacks kind of aliens, there goes the money.
Apparently, the Department of Education was 4% of the total federal budget in 2024. That's pretty huge. Yeah.
Well, that's
just slightly less than our military program.
Just about.
Drew Troy is giving us smiles.
Hey, Drew.
Hey, here you go, Mike. You want to read this one?
Yeah, certainly. I think that's a good point. He says, bad teachers, to Drew 24 says, bad teachers less likely to be removed. Good teachers not rewarded, and they're not allowed to actually teach, just be instructors for the most part, and it has shitty admins and a system. Absolutely, Drew. That is where we are at right now. Not just in the United States, but in Canada as well. It's these countries that are trying to teach students, but we're so far behind. And you can't just blame it on poor grades and things like that. You just can't do that, because that's being irresponsible.
Well, I think the biggest problem with these is that there's two problems that we got with our education system. That's the two biggest problems. One is you can't unless the teacher does something absolutely egregious, you can't just fucking fire their ass and get a new teacher in because of tenure.
Right.
But then also you're not allowed to beat the students anymore. I think they should bring back the paddles because some of these students deserve it. You know, I was lucky. I didn't get in much trouble when I ended up just having to beat the ass of a couple of my classmates. But they took my side here. They just kind of gave me that don't do it again. But they hit me first. So when I went and beat their ass, it was because I've been dealing with their bullshit for years. And finally, I snapped. And let's see. Curtis says, "How does Dark Woods? You've done well. You've had a real backing. It could be so much better."
Of course.
Yeah. Look, they wouldn't accommodate my disability when I was a kid, so the DOE could suck my dick. All I did was able to type my assignments. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, feel free to put the full fucking word in there. I don't censor nobody. Curtis might, but I don't censor nobody.
Censorship.
Come on.
Censorship.
Yeah. I'll Curtis Selby, not everyone.
Destroy
censorship. There's a reason I switched to Gorilla Censored Thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. The Doe budget comes out to just under 6,000. That all?
Yeah, that's just it right now.
Yeah. I'd say just
less than 10,000, and that will help a kid get through. You'll see more. If you haven't already seen it, you will see more dropouts as they occur because families cannot support that. The majority of families are stuck down in a very lower middle class section of the society.
That comes out of taxes, not out of the people's budgets there.
Well, yeah, but they do have to pay some of the money to get them in through school. It's not all about the rest of that, you know.
Oh yeah, you got to pay for
what they're saying. You got to put in things, you know.
So. Well, I think it should be the parents' responsibility to get the notebooks, to get the pencils, to get the erasers, and all that shit.
And I totally agree with that, but it's not supposed to be all on them, Gorilla. Do you understand? It's not supposed to be all their responsibility.
It costs me $50 a year in school supplies.
It does? Well,
yeah, that's the pencils.
You do well then if that's all you pay. Yeah,
notebooks and all that. The school, because Minnesota has which I'm glad. I think every state should adopt this, where they do the free breakfast and free. In most cases, unless you're like if you follow, and we got a high threshold for the income there, you can get free lunches in that. That I think every state should have that free breakfasts and free lunches for the students. I would be happy if my tax dollars went to that. That's something I want my tax dollars to go to.
Yeah, I don't want
my tax dollars going to some fucking LGBTQ play in Ireland there, or some trans comic book in Peru, or $1 million to go show urinals to women in Afghanistan, or gender studies in fucking Pakistan, or buying Costa Rica a new fucking Coast Guard yacht. No, that's something I want my money to.
Right.
Curse, that's sadly true. Crazy germ. Hey, Connie, how's it going? Welcome.
Connie Cleary. Chirp, chirp.
Man, this just jumped on me.
Hello, Miss Connie Cleary.
6K.
I think we should spend millions of dollars to buy a Royal Winnebago for the King of Tonga. I think that's what we should do.
Hey, okay. Point to Tonga on a map, then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
How about we spend that money to put a heat shield around Mount Kilauea in Hawaii?
No. We already have plans for Mount Kilauea because we were talking about this after Trump renamed Mount McKinley, Denali back to Mount McKinley here. We were talking
that
about
was
this.
in Alaska.
This guy, no, let me finish. We were talking about this on Salty's channel because we're going to paint Mount Kilauea gold in honor of Trump there. And we're going to rename it Mount Kilauea to Mount Trump and paint it gold.
Ooh.
And while we're guys, while we're talking about this and what Trump wants to do to Mount McKinley back in Alaska, there is a place there called Mount Spur in the Aleutian Islands that's ready to explode and ready to and go up. So, yeah, God, go get them.
Yeah, it's only going to affect, 6 people?
Probably.
Yeah,
depends on how many natives are on those islands in the first place.
All right, but let's not try to deviate off the topic here.
Sorry.
6,000 a student is way too damn much to educate. Well, it depends on what they're doing with the money is the problem.
Yeah, right.
Because 6,000 students is not unreasonable, but what they do with the money is what comes into question. I'm going to Mars with the Elons and Darkwoods. And ground control to Major Tom.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You really made the grade.
Well, let's see.
Right, Curtis?
Doja covered $100,000 sent to go fund Gorilla shrimp Alfredo recipe. What the fuck are you talking about that? That's funded by. Hey, that took a lot of research and all that money went to good use. Trust me on that. I don't have to disclose it or nothing. Money for decades goes up and all stats are going down. Obviously, more money isn't the issue. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's where my analogy came in from. Just cut the fucking program and try something new.
Well, if we cut back on, let me ask this to the panel. If we do cut back on the Department of Education fundage that goes towards students themselves, does this mean that we should, because Resolute Juror made a point where he says we should abolish public schools. So does that mean we all go back to private schooling, homeschooling? Doesn't cost taxpayers a thing when you do that.
No. Public schooling is still going to get funding, but the funding is going back to the states with maybe a little federal assistance. That's all it is. That's all. They're just getting rid. They're getting rid of the bureaucracy. All these cuts are getting rid of the bureaucracy, not getting rid of the programs. They're cutting the bureaucracy and the money laundering.
What they do is they have to eliminate the middlemen. Is what it is. The middlemen. Yeah. The ones that are intercepting the fundage in the first place.
Let's see. The dough is bloated with stuff, and it's funny. Like all NGOs, like a little known for this life. We ought to do something sometimes, girl. Yeah. I'm gonna be right back. Can you guys cover the chat?
Yeah, sure.
Chat is right out. Sorry.
The chat is right there.
I want to say, hey, Suzanne, real before I go.
Suzanne.
Oh, yes. Hello, Suzanne. So, Suzanne says, hello, boys. Germ did say there should be no public schools, and I have to agree to a certain extent with that assessment, but not all the way. Suzanne says, Drew24, hello. Suzanne saying hello to Mikey. Germ, Gorilla, Sci-Fi Sifdan. I said, hello, Suzanne. Darkwood says, well, we really only need 4 classes, history, reading, writing, and arithmetic. On to L and economics. You need 5 there, Darkwoods. If you're going to throw in anything other than those 4, you got to throw in economics or some kind of business acumen. Darkwood says, what the F are they really teaching? There is Sci-Fi Mommies from Stream Elements. Suzanne says, hello, boys. I was over on Sci-Fi Sifdan's side, and they're saying hello to Oila Greg and everybody.
Hello.
And Darkwood says, I learned more from being at home alone during the week and from my parents and grandparents than I ever learned in school, which is a good point. And it was Suzanne. And Sci-Fi Sifdan said, when I was in school, I found English very boring and kept lost interest in subjects because why I want to know of authors or writers that I will forget next week. Saying hello to Matt Arnold. And Lemon Pie says, I mean 20K for the usual spice blend. And then Darkwood says, why does the programs at Department of Education need more people every year when the programs they manage do not get that much bigger? Well, there are reasons for that. Suzanne says, my boy is homeschooled. Yeah, we learned that too, Suzanne.
Well, let's address Darkwood's chat here. It goes, why do programs let DOD need more people per year with programs managed? Well, that's called money laundering. Is what that's all it is. They're laundering the money. Yeah, good on you there, Suzanne, homeschooling your boy.
Yes,
kind of saying hello to everybody here. Let's see, 99% of anyone after like 25 years old don't use anything beyond fourth grade to earn them money, really, and you can learn everything you need for specialty work after, anyways. Yeah, because I don't even remember using algebra. I wish they would taught me something like how to file my taxes, and stuff like that.
That's what I mean, Gorilla. That's what I mean by basic business acumen. Add that to the other 4 that he mentioned there to be taught. Listen, even a 4th or 5th grader can be taught basic business practices, how to save money, how to make money, how to invest it in the right investments. They can be told this. I've seen 4th, 5th grade, 6th graders know what's going on. More in business than like people above them who already graduated with business degrees. So absolutely.
Let's see. In truth, reading comprehension and mathematics and what's important with that boy can grow and be able to build his own home and read important things. Yeah, exactly there. I said that. Why don't you say this out loud instead of putting it in the chat?
Go ahead, Dan.
I'll make you read your own.
All right. Well, I was writing. Well, I find myself keep writing sci-fi fan stories that I love to write in school instead of taking an interest in my regular English class stuff. And now I am an okay to good amateur writer in my free time, and I do write fan fiction stories on franchises I love, and that made me an okay to good story writer now.
Cool.
Yeah. And that proves my point, Suzanne. Your own uncle never went past 6th grade, and he's one of the richest men in British Columbia. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that reminds me of an old story there. A man went to go apply for a job as a janitor at a place there, and they told him he needs his email. He goes, well, I don't have an email. Well, you need to get an mail for this and this for your check and all that. He goes, well, I don't have one. Okay, well, we can't give you the job. So the guy started selling apples on the side of the road there. He was selling them for $1 a piece there and then build them. Eventually, he was able to spend out, and he started to get multiple places selling just apples. And he had, and eventually, and he retired a multimillionaire. When it came time to his retirement, he just talked to an attorney. He goes, well, what's your email? He goes, well, I don't have one. He goes, what? Just think of how big you could have got. Just think of where you could be if you had an email, what you could have done there. And he looked right at his lawyer and goes, well, then I would have been a janitor.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. That stuff was part of basic math class 25 years ago. Yeah, not anymore. Like I got security clearances and I was highly sought after by these NGOs, but I didn't want to work for them because of the absolute bureaucracy. It's just against my ethics. Exactly. Well, I'm glad you stand on your morals there, Darkwood. That's great of you, and I'm being sincere on this.
Yeah.
Let's see, and they pay well a little too well. It just didn't sit right with me. Let's see. Yeah. Uncle made his money building his own log house. He sold it and built a lot more fancy ones for him and his children, all financially simple. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, right. That's totally nice.
All right, so I think we kind of went through what we could with the DOE here. So let's end the night with something a lot more lighthearted topic: abortion.
Okay. No, no. Don't even go there, Gorilla. Don't even say it.
Well, actually, we got more time than I thought, but we could probably touch on a few objects. But I'm thinking that problem that the biggest abortion argument, I've noticed this in a lot of chats, both sides are arguing two different points on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, Curtis.
Well, I mean, I do know that, like, there does seem to be a cross purpose because one one side's talking about the value of life, and the other one's talking about the value of choice. And of course, I don't.
It's a very muddy middle, isn't it?
Well, I don't. Yeah, exactly. There's no.
Yeah.
They both taken a side on something that you can't, or they feel they can't compromise on. And I mean, how do you decide that? How do you decide to compromise on what the value of life is, or the value of choice?
Yeah.
The best thing I've ever read about it was from the feminist author Naomi Wolf. She wrote in Fire with Fire. I'm going to paraphrase her a little bit. That she'd marched in protest to make sure women had the right to have an abortion. She felt like it was a woman's right and her right to choose. But she also said, let's please be very honest. And the bottom of our hearts, we all know that an abortion is a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah.
And taking a human life is something that should never be done lightly. And that's, I mean, again, that's kind of the point that I've adopted is absolutely you have the right to choose it. But when you choose it, be sure that you understand that this is the taking of a human life. It's like the same thing as a soldier in a war. It's not fun. It's not games. You're ending a human life. So please don't do it lightly.
Yeah. Can you see what we got a link here from on X from Darkwoods? But the arguments I noticed, and this happened actually in your chat there, Curtis. So
yeah,
I'm
no,
but the one thing that people are like, I notice on the left is that women are getting forced to carry dead fetuses or getting forced to carry out miscarriages and all that, and it's like, no, that there becomes medically necessary. I don't think 99% of the people on the right would fully support if you're going through a miscarriage or the fetus is no longer viable. Then yes, it has to go. Then there, but the right's arguing that people are using it more as birth control than they're that's what we want to stop. Because and I've actually seen, I don't know this person personally, but I've actually seen a person, they carried the baby until they had the baby shower. They got all the baby shower stuff. They got the abortion. They said they had a miscarriage and all that. And then they went and sold all the baby stuff to earn money. To me, that's bullshit,
disgusting.
Right?
I will say this. On the side of the debate I'm on is that unless the mother or the parent that's carrying the child is in life-threatening danger, don't have a damn abortion about it. Just accept the consequences. Whether you got pregnant by accident, accept the consequences and man up or woman up and take responsibility of that kid. And unless the parent that's carrying the child has life-threatening circumstances, like I don't know, the baby and the mother will not survive. And that's a tough choice. Are you willing to sacrifice 2 lives or 1 life then? And I know Suzanne's going to chill me out for that, saying, look, killing a baby to save the mother, it's still murder. It's like, well, look, it's like, would you rather say sacrifice 2 lives for 1 life or sacrifice 1 life to save another life?
Yeah. Now, there's a tough decision. That falls under the medical necessary, And that point, I don't want, that's an argument that I'm not arguing there, that they're, but it's when people are, there's one lady, I can't find the video anymore. It got taken down, but the lady was sitting there screaming. She's one of these butch cut people. And I was looking at her and was like, seriously, you got laid that many times? But that's a whole different song. She's a butch cut. But let me finish my story. She was sitting there bragging on camera how she's gotten 6 abortions, like she got the punch card, like get 9 abortions, get the 10th one free. It's like, okay, one time, maybe. No, now you're just no, that's absolute bullshit right there. When are you going to take some responsibility?
It does affect. I wanted to mention too, Gorilla, that Suzanne is absolutely right. It affects men on a more personal level. I've been through it twice, 2 different situations. I went through someone who had a miscarriage, and I went through someone who aborted, just didn't even give a shit, and went ahead with an abortion. And it is complete murder. I totally agree on those points. As far as Sifdan goes, there's been a situation where a friend can't have a child because it will affect their physical being. It will kill them if they decide to have children. In that case, then just go snip, snip and say, okay, I'm unable to have kids. I have a cousin who I won't say her name, but she's already gone through that experience. And it's devastating. But if she found a way to become a great aunt to other cousins and other friends in our family, which makes her feel more whole. And I think that's what should happen. I think a lot of women that go through that should be able to have some outlet to be able to go and assist other families and do things like that. Yeah. And I would support a payment plan that can help those people that have gone, those ladies gone through it, and help others in that way. But if but if it's Planned Parenthood, we all know that that's a money grabber and a killer of money, and it needs to be cut back. It needs to seriously be cut back. Yes. That money isn't worth your soul. I agree, Curtis. Yeah.
I'd like to say hi to Accounting Sheep and acknowledge his comment. Not sure.
Yes. Hello, Accounting Sheep. Welcome, welcome.
But I'm pretty sure it's higher than the $600 Planned Parenthood charges.
Oh, it's more than that. It's more than that.
Oh yeah. Well, let's catch up on chats here. And these people were like millionaires from families you've heard of. Okay. And is LDJ asleep again? I don't know. I'll be nice to him tonight. Yeah. Or wait, did I hear something?
No, just letting you guys talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, we're going to be getting to you. Now I was going to say we're going to be getting to you, sir, in regards to censorship. Your project is hoping to beat that to the punch.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely will. But you got to run out though, guys, real quick. Couple notes. I think the number one thing you could do to fix education system is not ban, but I think one of the biggest problems for that hurt our kids is when they introduced multiple choice answers tests, making it so much easy for kids who are not supposed to be passing their grade to pass. I know for a fact if my tests were, I had to actually put the answer instead of giving me the answer and mixed in with a bunch of other answers. I would have had to have studied a lot more, and I would have a lot more.
Well, you mean it's detrimental just to pick C for all your answers?
Well, actually, yeah. Well, basically. I mean, the whole point of it is that they made it so easy to pass, and then you realize that idiots in the class were passing when they should have failed.
Oh, they're passing anyhow.
Yeah. As far as the abortion thing, I think we need to figure out what life is first before we start answering what's right and wrong. I know everybody's got their opinions, but we're trying to give an answer to something that we don't actually know the answer to yet. I know everybody thinks they might know, and I know there's evidence you think you might know, but there's still a chance we don't know, and we need to figure that out. So. Anywho, I hope things work out. We'll see. Trump's doing some cool stuff. Hopefully his tariffs bring more businesses to America, because that's one thing that we're definitely missing. Companies bailing, going other places, and we need to start producing more and having more jobs, and especially today where like you can have a job. You don't even have to work hard today. You just need a cell phone and you can have a job today. But that's not even being explored. But anywho, on that note, guys, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I got to get to sleep. Big day tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later.
Well, thank you for being on there, LDG. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, guys. And I'm always watching, even if I'm not in chat. Take care, guys. Be good.
Take care, sir.
Later.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to do a witty comment at LDG saying, well, LDG, tell me, for your Prometheus project, will it be when health reasons over when it finally will come out, or will it come out sooner than that?
He's working on it. We talked about this backstage there. And Drew 44 says it's still murder. Well, to me, I think it depends on the circumstance there. If it's there, it's a touchy subject, I know. Here's the link that Dark was put in. If someone is okay with abortion, then it should be allowed out up to the day that the kid's 18th birthday. Then, heck, we could just argue, hey, officer, I didn't murder him. I gave him a 482nd trimester abortion.
And Gorilla, trust me, there are idiots. And trust me, Gorilla, there are idiots out there that would try that excuse, and it may work on the cops or may not.
Well, no, it depends on the judge. It all depends on the judge. And sorry, no points to argue murder is murder, and to murder someone too tiny to fight back or to ask for help is amnesty is coward. Yeah. And like I said, if it's medically that I fall under the medically necessary or someone forced himself onto another person, then that there's gray here. But otherwise, it shouldn't. But I'm pretty sure there could be some kind of compromise where nobody's satisfied, but nobody's pissed off either.
Yeah, and to the point that I wanted to address with Sifdan, when it does come down to that situation where the woman could be affected, or the baby could be affected, it's a real difficult choice to make because on one hand you are saving one life, but then you're killing the other life, basically. Yeah. So it is a complex conundrum. It really is, and there's no right answer. There's no right answer to it. Yeah, because I have seen it. In my experience, I've been there. If you want me to read this, so true, Drew. But then you've got, orphanages that deplete resources too. So as I said, it's a very complex situation. There's no right answers. There's no wrong answers. It's just a mystery that people are still trying to figure out, even after all these centuries. Yeah. So
and Dark puts the Discord link in. I can't get on the Discord on my computer here to click on it here. LDG, hello, sorry I missed you. Yeah, he's on the panel here. We had a nice conversation for a good 20 minutes before the stream there.
Right.
And welcome Accounting Sheep. I'm not sure if I said hi to you yet, but he goes, not sure of the value of a human life, but I'm pretty sure it's higher than $600 their planned parenthood charges. I think according to the U.S. government, it's $13 million you're taking hostage in another country.
And I would say this to try to play a little bit. Well, there's also the adoption option for a couple or for one that does not want her babies to do an abortion. Just go through the whole pregnancy and then just drop the baby off an abortion after having the kid. Say, here, I have the kid now. I don't want her. Now take it over and take it. No, I don't have to take responsibility for 18 years of having the child grow up with a no good mother that won't take care of her or him.
Yeah. Let's see. Look up the cult of Moloch. Okay.
Moloch. Oh, Moloch. The cult of Moloch.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, that's my new X account. Okay, you got a new X account. That's what it was.
And I said hello to the
followed. I am saying hi. Planned Parenthood is selling baby parts. Yeah, they were. Seriously. Yeah, I know they were. Where do you think stem cells come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly, very high percent of abortions is birth control inconvenience. And they want to convince themselves that it's not really human. Yeah, they call it a fetus instead of human there. And it's just a parasite. And Suzanne says, okay, I believe this is nothing to discuss. Full stop. It's murder, period. I had to see my male friends destroyed over child being born.
It devastated me. What my experience is, like I just told you guys, it devastated me on both counts. Yeah. And the fact that, Suzanne and I, we're both unable to have children, but we do have cats. That helps suffice a little bit, but it doesn't eliminate the fact that if you have children, you can raise them, up to a certain point and then let them go out on their own and do things. So it's very, it's hurtful to men when they lose that ability.
And hey, JPs, I'll be getting to yours here shortly. There is no law that prevents abortion in the cases of the life of the mother. The cases of women hiding miscarriages are due to propaganda. Yeah, I know. I know. You know, I had this argument with the gal on Discord. I'm not going to mention her name. I'll respect the fact that I won't mention her name. But that's a whole another discussion. We hardly agree on anything. But the 3-day abortion pill is ending up in our water supply, toxic levels. So some women in some states can't even have a. Oh yeah, I heard something about that, but I never did much research into that. Let's see. I wish more would adopt though. Yeah. And Connie says, "Hey, gorillas. Hey, Connie. Well, I could never have children because of lithium, so no abortion ever was in my fault because of lithium."
Well, it's never your fault. It's never your fault.
I didn't know. I don't know anything about the connection with lithium and stuff.
Yeah.
I come back. I came back and knocked on my doors of my old teachers and showed them my college scores. I was like, "You were assholes not to pass me when you passed these other idiots." Exactly.
Exactly.
Because I dropped out of high school and I got a GED and went to college.
Never went to college. Take care, LDG. Yeah.
Oh shoot! This jumped on me. Let's see. Take care of LDG. And the people demanding the right to unlimited abortions are the same ones demanding we all go vegan so my egg sandwich doesn't kill a chicken. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. I ain't going full vegan. I'll tell you that right now. Give me the stroke. I'll have my burger and I'll have the stroke at the same time. I'll actively eat a burger while I'm actively having a stroke.
Oh, jeez.
You could. JP says you can't murder something that is not alive yet. Well, that depends. What's your definition of alive?
Yeah, but according to the laws, not just of the Holy Bible, but according to other sources, the moment of conception, when you have that moment of conception and the baby does begin right at that moment when it becomes inside the mother's womb, that is a live being, even if it's inside the mother's womb for approximately 9 to 10 months. That is a human life. That is a being. So I don't know where you're coming from on that, JPs, but I can tell you, yes, at the moment of conception, that baby is alive and well, and it is there, and it is forming. So whatever you do from that point, call it what you will. Call it murder, call it necessity, call it anything, but that is an actual human soul that is inside the mother's womb. And I will debate that to you till the end of time. So there you go.
Let's see. Darkwood says, I went to Tesla process to make sure they didn't break the windows or throw Molotovs this weekend. There were no cops anywhere near it.
Wow.
Of course not. Of course not. And medically necessary is too vague. They can interpret that to abort the disabled there. Yeah, but I still say leave it up to a doctor there. Let's see. Plus, there are plenty of cases where the father would love to take care of the kid. Mom doesn't want it, but sorry, you don't get to say. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I actually had a person that's. I actually had someone have the audacity to say, "There's no laws." You men don't have a say because there's no laws regulating your body. When I was 18, I had to sign a piece of paper pledging my body to be cannon fodder so that these politicians can make billions of dollars from the military-industrial complex from pointless wars.
What bothers me about the argument of don't tell me what to do with my body is that all too often the same person that said we had to get a vaccine for the coof. And I call BS. Either, to me, it's totally inconsistent. If it's absolutely a right that I can do what I want to with my body, then it should apply to both principles.
Yeah, and when you were 18, you had to sign a piece of paper pledging your body to be Canada father too.
I did. Like, either that or move to Canada. So,
well, Canada probably had the same thing, doesn't it?
Canada didn't want me.
No, but Canada has the same thing too, where you got to a man has to pledge his body.
I think they do. I think they do.
Well, you know what bothers me here in Canada is I wish the man had more of a say in the instances where they do want to have children with their female counterpart. I wish they did have more of a say saying, well, what can I do to make sure that we do have a child? Well, you can take care of your body for one. Make sure you don't drink it or smoke it to death or do what or take drugs to it to death. You know, that's one thing. You know, as long as you've got a healthy plan and you know, and you and your partner can do the practices that need to be done. And that way, you know, you should be able to have a children by all rights, absolutely. And it has to be consensual. Both parties need to believe they want to have a kid. That's absolutely essential. If it's only one-sided, I can see why women just feel like, oh God, you know, then should I really have a kid? Should I really do this? You know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I see the complexities and the discrepancies right away, right, Curtis? I mean, that's...
Yep. Yeah.
I see it. I see
okay.
it.
I was just gonna say I was gonna do a consensus on where I think the original four of us were at on the abortion side of it.
Hi, PvP.
But
hey,
since
guys, I may not
joined,
stay on long. I may not stay on long because my computer fan is acting up again, and I'm going to have to get in. Yeah, it's been really quiet for like the last 2 months, and then yesterday it started. Yesterday afternoon, so I had to shut it off because I work right on the other desk right nearby, so I didn't want to hear that when I was working. So, but the weird thing is, I started up last night and it's fine. It's quiet. It's running fine. So it's fine last night. Then I had my alarm on all night, quiet all night. Then today around noon, I guess it was about an hour after I started working, the damn thing starts grinding away again. You know, it's obviously a fan. Well, actually, I even got a warning message that there was a fan not working. So I know what it is now. Yeah. So I don't know how long I'm going to stay on. And chance it's actually fairly quiet right now again, though. Weirdly, it seems to be intermittent. Sometimes it's not working, and then sometimes it seems like maybe it is.
But
I just want to let you guys know, though, if I suddenly disappear for like 3 or 4 days or whatever, it's because the computer's in the shop, right?
The CIA got him.
Well, yeah, that's it.
But welcome to the panel PvP, and we're gonna catch up on chats here real quick.
Sure.
Plus, there are plenty of cases where the father would love to take care of the kid because the mom doesn't want it. But sorry, you don't get a say. Yeah, exactly. Right. Let's see. Raping incest and putting the others' health at risk. Also, the child with an incurable illness. Well, yeah, and that's not what the right is arguing. That's just propaganda from the left. That we're arguing the ones that get drunk at a party, hook up with some random guy, then get pregnant, and then go and abort the kid.
And then they do it a dozen more times.
Yeah.
The most I've seen so far is 6, but that's some lady bragging on TV. I mean, most kids are parasites even far into the adulthood sometimes.
You're calling them parasites. No. Now, if the kid's a detriment to your finances, maybe you can go there.
Every kid's a detriment to your finances. What are you talking about, Mikey?
A detriment. That's what I'm saying.
Have you seen my grocery bill with my 2 garbage disposals? They're both going. When they're both going through a growth spurt at the same fucking time, I'm filing for Chapter 9 bankruptcy.
See, that's why they never should have brought those child labor laws in. They never should have done that. I say let the kids work too, right?
Yeah, make them work for the fucking food.
Right, PvP. Right. Let them make the money. That's what I'm saying.
That's right. But that's a whole other topic. We'll stay on the topic of we're at.
Well, we'll go to that. We'll go to that tomorrow, Gorilla, if you want to discuss that. I can tell you.
Okay. I had several women try to come in to me into paying for an abortion. I got my mom involved and my sister. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Like that's like the one time there were some gal got into it. Marissa calling Marissa a racist and a bitch and all that. I was about to comment on it, but I see her sister got involved. I looked at Marissa and go, I was going to handle this, but your sister's a much bigger bitch than I could ever be, so I'll let her handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's what I did with my ex-wife. I sicked her on people so she could use her powers for good and not just evil.
Let's see. JP says, listen, my sister and her first husband would have to pay $20K to be able to have a child.
That's How are they able to come up with that figure? $20K.
I'm not sure. I need more. I don't want to pry into someone's business there,
personal life.
That's something I don't know the detail. I need my 6 eggs a day.
No, I need my 6 eggs a week.
So they got divorced, and my sister had kids with someone else who wasn't shooting. Oh, so it's the husband's fault. Okay.
Yeah.
They could have adopted.
That's kind of cold to dump the guy just because he's shooting blanks. Like, wow, so much for love, you know?
Yeah, love doesn't exist if you can't get it up.
Yeah. Let's see. Darkwood says they can't find a good man, but they need the. Yeah. No, it's not the moment begins when it pops out.
I'm not sure what he meant by that, but I think he was discussing the fact that I said everything begins with conception. And of course, Lemon's saying 5 weeks. Yeah, they have a heartbeat after 5 weeks.
I think
you want to start from 5 weeks all the way to 9 months and then go from there?
I agree with Mikey. I agree with you, Mikey. I think it's conception.
I believe it.
I mean, that's when life starts, right?
Yeah,
that's when it starts.
It's not like for the first 4 weeks that there's no life there, right? And there's obviously life growing.
Yes.
So
that's an actual human soul, not just a human being. It's a soul.
Well,
the soul begins at conception.
I think I would generally agree. You guys were basically coming out on the side that it's basically murder, right?
It is murder. That's what Dan said.
I would tend to agree with that. Sorry, Joel.
Yeah, Russell George says if they can abort without my consent, I don't have to pay child support. Yeah, tell that to the judge.
Said anything about that?
Tell that to the judge. About the jab when they said our body, our choice, they changed their saying hello. Yeah, I know exactly. They changed that real quick. I called a few people out on that, and I know for a fact I called out fucking Brooklyn Dan on that because I've been going after him on a lot of his fucking tweets there. I'm waiting for him to block me, but of course I can't take that guy seriously because he tried selling his kids toys for crack. But that's a whole different song.
Wow.
Clean out the damn fan out.
I'm gonna call the computer. We got the best computer shop is in London Drugs, which is like a drugstore chain, but they have like TVs and stereos and computers and everything. Food. They're like a department store basically.
Yeah.
They've got the best computer department. So I'm gonna call them up tonight and probably take it in tomorrow after work.
Make sure you get an itemized bill from them so they're not overcharging you.
They're probably since they're the biggest. I imagine their rates are probably as low as anybody's because they do such a huge volume, of repairs, right?
I still get an itemized bill from them, or else they're going to charge you up the ass for different stuff.
I'll get it all in writing for sure.
Yeah,
but the thing is, all it should take is just taking the old fan out and swapping in a new one, right? So it shouldn't take more than an hour, I would think.
But I still get an itemized bill because all we know. You want to read this one?
PvP, stop spilling lasagna onto your PC. No, it's not lasagna.
And sit there. I'll make you read your own.
Yeah, go sit down.
All right. So I wrote this in the chat while you guys were talking. Where does PvP stand on this abortion issue? Because I'd like to do a consensus on where we all stand on the panel.
Well, I think life begins at conception. I think, there's always these women that say, oh, I have the right to control my body. And it's like, well, to a certain extent, I would agree with that. But when you're pregnant and you got another life, another human being growing inside you, that's when it gets a little more questionable, doesn't it? It's like the fetus doesn't get to have a saying. It doesn't get a say in the matter. you know, I'm sure if it did, it would go, please don't kill me. You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the only thing I can see, if a mother's life is in she's in danger, you know, of dying or something, like serious health complication, sure, I'd say, you know, yeah, no, not much choice in that case. The whole rape and all that stuff, yeah, that's a little tougher too. Once again, though, the fellow that did it is the guilty person, but the fetus is still innocent, right?
Yeah.
So it's a complicated subject. But
right,
you know,
so,
Yeah.
well,
right.
I'll wrap up as quickly as I can. There's that one guy that goes around university campuses. He's like a, you know, right of center guy, and he challenges some of the lefties. You've probably seen his videos. He does a lot of shorts on YouTube. And there was this one thing where they were talking about this very issue, the abortion issue, and you know, this young woman comes up and she's like, well, you know, it's not really life; it's nothing but nothing but a group of cells. And he fires back. He says, "You're nothing but a group of cells." And she's like dumbfounded, right? Because she never thought of it that way. We're all, you know, a group of cells when it comes right down to it.
Draw the line on it,
you know.
Oops.
So, you know, hopefully that made her think a little bit.
All right. So,
all
right.
You want to read this one, PV, or what were you gonna say, Satan?
All right. So the feeling I get from most of that Curtis can give his opinion on this for me to do a consensus on where he stands on this issue.
Yeah, at the risk of you know, proving JP's right that we're an echo chamber, I've always believed that life begins at conception. Now, I get the argument that, you know, the woman should have the right up until the time that the fetus can take care of it, or maybe not take care of itself, but survive for some time outside of the body. I'm okay with people having differences of opinion as far as when is that a living being. To me, it's at conception, but I'm absolutely okay with us deciding that for legal purposes it's at 3 months or 4 months or whatever. But I do think that having it be all the way up till birth is rubbish and balderdash, because and I'll tell you why. If I go out into the streets, and YouTube's going to ding me for this, but I decide I'd just like to murder this woman, and it turns out she's pregnant, I'm going to be charged for 2 murders. And if you don't believe me, look it up. So why is it murder when I do it, and it's okay when she does it? And again, I know that that's a little bit of oversimplification, but to me, it goes back to one of my political heroes is Ron Paul, and that often turns people off. But he was a family healthcare doctor. He delivered thousands of babies, but in order to get his license to be a doctor, he had to visit an abortion center and see how it worked and see what it was like. And he said that he'd never forget. They aborted this baby and just dumped it in a bucket, and it was crying and it was struggling and it was trying to live, but nobody helped it. Nobody did anything. It just died.
That's horrible.
That's horrible. And
I think at that point, I think aren't doctors required to try to save the body if it's a botched like that?
Well, you tell me.
I thought that was a law.
Well, that's what I used to think, but I mean, look at what they did with the COOF. Look at what they did with all kinds of things. The Hippocratic Oath it's like the Constitution. We just consider it this atavistic thing that doesn't really apply to our more sophisticated and more enlightened age.
Yeah. Hey, I want to welcome Clue Studios and Sashi. Welcome.
Sashi.
Hello, Sashi. All right. So to wrap up my consensus, I would say 4 of the 5 of us are pro-life and only in the extreme circumstances. Curtis may be a little more lenient on the abortion side of it than the rest of us, but beyond that, we all agree that we're mostly pro-life, basically.
Yes.
I would say so. Yeah. By the way, Lemon, yes, I know. The weird thing was it started right at Christmas week. That was the fun part. Then it only acted up for like about 10 days, and then it's been like all through January. Most of January, February, and March, it's been quiet. Like it's like it almost like fixed itself, right? Now it's starting acting it, but I am done this time. I am definitely taking it in this week. So yeah.
Okay, and Scurrier says, "Sit down. Are you taking a poll?" Yeah, that's fine. Bringing an on the live child, and that's fine. Better bringing an unloved child into the world.
Yeah, but you notice they don't stay unloved for very long.
There's lots of people that can't have kids that would love to adopt that.
They love to have children of their own. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, JP's. I'm letting everybody express their own opinion. I've read every chat. We're all just expressing our own opinions here.
Well, the thing is, if you don't like our echo chamber, why are you listening to it?
I'm not going to go that far, but I'm letting everybody express their opinions.
It's an honest question. I think it's an honest question.
It is, but it maybe.
Yeah.
No, I don't like saying things like that, but sometimes. It gets to the point where I feel like I need to.
That's to be said.
I'm sorry, Gorilla. I don't go looking for arguments with anybody. You know me, guys.
Me either,
Right. So Darkwood says, "I loved working on the family farm. And no, it's not cold. Not an echo chamber in here at all. I disagree with these guys on things all the time, and you're in here. No one is stopping you from disagreeing. I just stated a fact." To make a point that in the sign of life there's 5 weeks. Never said that was not a life prior to 5 weeks.
That's right. Lemon never makes a good point. And I did. He makes a good point, JP's. Yeah, he does.
And PvP, go to Memory Express if you have one in your area.
Yeah, or go to the Best Buy guys if they still exist. The Geek Squad. They'll take it.
If you didn't live in Canada, PvP, I would look at your computer for free.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, life is not life without consciousness and being somewhere. Oh, I know a lot of people who are not somewhere. So you're saying that a lot of these people are drugged out on heroin and fentanyl, just lying dumbfounded in the streets there, that they're not self-aware or a bunch of conscious there. So are they not life?
Oh yeah, and I would jump off that to that. Well, then there are some elderly people in nursing homes that are hooked up to machines or had a stroke or two, and they're still alive, hooked up to machines. Would you say, oh well, they're not self-aware or conscious about that? You want to basically eliminate them now too?
Yeah, hell, we had a president for 4 years that wasn't conscious or self-aware of anything. Which Jared Quinn says, "Maybe close your legs." That means that every woman who had an abortion while I was with it because I can't. I mean, they were having sex with someone else. I think. Yep. There's a whole other thing there too. And Germ says it's not actually complicated. Clue Studio says Charlie Kirk. Oh boy, what did I walk to? Am I going to be canceled?
Howdy, Clue Studio.
Well, Sasha, you might not get canceled, but I might. Curtis might. Mikey might. But you know what Tom McDonald says? You can't cancel all. You can't cancel all of us. If you haven't seen Tom McDonald's song, it's great, by the way.
Yeah.
And everybody saying, welcome there. JP's, I never right.
Thank you, Resolution.
I would say he's never right, but he has his own opinion. Let's see. Asian parents will abort after you're out. You piss them off enough.
Well, he's not wrong. Sashi has said that there are parents that get so pissed off with their kids before they're 18. If they're 15, 16, even 12, 13, 14 years old, they'll kick them right out of the house. They don't give a shit. They're like, go fend for yourself. Yeah, they will.
Darkwood says, don't ever think you're oversimplifying, Curtis. Charging someone with 2 murders in that instance is, well, if the woman's planning on having the baby and say they're 7 months pregnant, the baby can survive on its own outside the womb. I agree with it.
Well, at least JP's is consistent. I will hand him that.
Yeah.
Always been consistent. Resolute German will attest to that.
Oh, maybe that's just a few select states then.
Yeah.
That they don't have to say it. No, they're not required to save the baby. They're considered the abortion procedure. That's final. The baby will be killed if the continues to live. Yeah, I thought if it was a botched abortion, they're required to try to save it.
So looking at that comment, I just want to interject for a second. I mean, if the baby could live and they have to kill it, is that not then murder?
Yeah.
That's
messed. It can be considered murder in many cases, PvP.
That's really messed up.
Exactly. Yeah. But here again, it's more of a complex trying to decide, well, do you want the kid to live? Yes, obviously you do. But, you're trying to save a life. That's the first part of the Hippocratic Oath. But as we said before, the Hippocratic Oath and the United States Constitution and even our charter up here in Canada that we agreed to, they all seem to have loopholes lately, which is really stupid.
I've noticed that.
Yeah. And Darkwood says there are orphanages that play on people who want to adopt newborns. Yeah, they're playing pro-death child. Well, I follow the pro-life side here, and I'm letting everybody express their own opinion there.
And the pro-death channels get monetized.
No, I'm monetized too, but maybe not after tonight. I'm listening to it because I enjoy you guys, even though you are wrong. Well, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Nope, those druggies are zombies.
We're the anti-view. We're 5 guys.
5 guys talking good sense instead of nonsense.
That's all our topic here. But I'm going to read these last 3 chats, and then I think that unless anybody else has something else to add, we'll call her tonight. And they have either kids or disappointments.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Saying hi, and that is true. All right. True. So does anybody have anything else to add or anything?
Not really.
Not really. I think we covered just about all we were able to cover.
If I disappear for a while, it's because of my computer. So
it's the CIA. Don't believe him.
I would say this is one final thought, closing statement. Hopefully, if this debate gets very heated and if your cycle is crazy enough, at the end of the day, one side, love it or hate it, has to win this pro-life or pro-choice debate on abortion. And I would say this: if the left side says all the way up till the birthing of the baby and you get an abortion, then just outlaw abortion altogether. If that's the case, if they want to do it all the way up to birth, don't do that.
All right.
They worry about overpopulation and that is their one of their points, but it makes no sense.
There is one problem with outlawing abortion, though. It used to be illegal here, and I'm sure it used to be illegal in the States.
Yes.
And that didn't stop abortions from happening because women were going to these back alley butchers, as they used to call them, right?
Yeah. That's right. They were going behind people's backs and their families.
And risking their lives to go, to probably guys that weren't even doctors doing this, right? So
right.
So before we head out here, I want to play something. We'll probably get hit with the copyright, but if that's okay with Curtis.
Go for it. If I need to, I'll edit it out of mine. But
okay. I just want to play this because this was absolutely hilarious.
And fucking.
So this is what happens with Doge here. So they labeled this guy as Democrat.
$30,000 fucking dollars in one fucking month.
Morning, the business expenses. Relax.
Business expenses?
Yes.
Jordy, look what you got here.
What?
Look at this. $26,000 for one fucking dinner.
Okay, no. This could be explained. Dad, we had the Pfizer clients.
Right, the porterhouse from Argentina.
The expensive champagne, the wine. We had to buy champagne. And you ordered all the fucking sides. Tell them about the sides.
I ordered the sides. So
Sides? $26,000 worth of sides? What are these sides? They cure cancer?
The sides did cure cancer. That's the problem. That's why they were expensive.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm serious. I know.
Stop.
And EJ Entertainment. What the fuck is EJ Entertainment?
Well, that's
yeah, George, what's
how do I
EJ
describe
Entertainment?
this?
George, what is that?
It's a fucking prostitution ring, Jordy.
I know.
That's what it is.
That is what it is.
Isn't that the perfect description for it?
That is what it is. But none of these were charged to me. This is all of them.
Oh, that was all us.
It wasn't me though. Fucking explain this shit to them.
Well,
These are all your fucking charges right here.
You guys, the IRS, they allow for TNA. It's fine.
T&E. T&E.
Yeah.
Oh my.
No, you said TNA.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
When did I say
You said
that?
TNA. It's TNE. All right.
I know you're.
Oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is
That is-
Oh, that was great.
That was great. That is excellent stuff.
Does that not sum it up for pretty much?
Oh, that was really good.
I think that covers the ball.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I needed a good laugh, and that provided one.
Yeah. Welcome, Mark Malkoff. We're just closing up. Here,
Kapla! Hail and well met.
Mark Menkoff.
So thank you, Mark Malkoff, for coming. You want to promote Mark here, Curtis, since he's on your channel?
Well, Malkoff does do some content. I also like to praise him because one of the little known facts about him was he was the weapons master person on the play. I'm having a senior moment, and I hate it when I do that.
We still love you, even though you have senior moments, brother.
Klingon Christmas Carol, which is a real thing, and you need to look it up and watch it. You will be glad to be alive again. I want to live again, Clarence.
Hey, Curtis, do you want to say his statement there real quick?
Yes, doge me now, doge me fast, doge me hard. Kapla. Oops, thought I was on a secure signal chat with my Klingon ambassador to the Federation. Just dropping in to say hello.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, thank you, JPs, for coming, and thank you, Clue Studio, for coming. Does anybody know if Clue has anything?
I've never seen Clue Studio before. Are they new?
He is off.
I have seen Clue Studio once or twice. I think he's still new. I think he's still new, right?
Welcome there, Clue Studio.
He hangs out a lot with Troy Pacelli and Netter and the lead
that's where I saw him.
Okay. I've heard.
So
I've
he's
heard
good.
Of those guys.
He's good people. He's really a wonderful person.
Well, looks like he's got couple there in his avatar.
Too. Yeah. No, he's good people.
Oh, he's on Troy's channel. Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you, cool.
Thank you, Sasha, for coming, and thank you, Connie Cleary, for coming. Now, Connie Cleary, if you ever need to pick me up, she has some fun bird videos on her channel, so make sure to check her out. And thank you, Darkwood Presents. You want to promote Darkwood? There's Curtis.
Darkwoods. He is an author. He is I don't exactly know how to describe him. But he's a wonderful person who's basically his big deal is he stands up for the people who are actually oppressed, as opposed to people that are out there virtue signaling and I'm so oppressed, but I'm going to go home tonight and eat steak. And he does some of his own content as well. So please check him out. I've bought his book and I'm nearly done with it because I'm a slow reader, but he has some really entertaining horror stories he's written, some short stories. He's put it together in a book called Behold Madness. And so it just depends, if you don't like horror, you may not like the book, but I do. But then I'm kind of strange. So,
yeah. All right. Thank you. And thank you, Resolute Cheer, for coming. He'll have Saturday morning cartoons too. So make sure to check him out. And thank you, Scurvy, also known as Lemon Pie, for coming. And while I'm scrolling here, sit there, promote yourself.
Sit down.
Ground control to
Thank you, Accounting Sheep, for coming. That's on Curtis's channel. You want to do you want to promote Counting Sheep?
I can promote Accounting Sheep. He's also on Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf's channels with us and Curtis. Counting Sheep is a well-learned man. He is a bit eccentric. He's a bit nuts a few times, but we love him, and he helps to bring the chat along whenever Charlotte has some watch parties or when we do have some podcasts. So it would be good to make friends with Accounting Sheep. Maybe not take his bull by the horns, or in this case, lamb by the horns. But
I really do like his comment, though. That's really on target.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. Yes.
He's also a fantastic lyricist. So if you get a chance to listen to any of his music, and of course, a lot of it's tongue in cheek, but he is really good. So
And thank you, LDG hashtag for the net for coming. If you ever need IT help or need a place to hang out, there's always freethenet.org/underground. And thank you to the Drew 20. And thank you to the Drew 24 for coming. If you ever need IT help or need a place to hang out, there's always freethenet.org/underground. And thank you, Suzanne, for coming. And while I'm scrolling here, PvP, promote yourself. Okay, Mike.
Sorry, I was just reading Suzanne's comment there. I'm sorry. Nothing much going on because of my computer issues. So I'm going to call him probably in a few minutes after the stream ends and see when would be a good time to take it in. Sometime in the next couple of days, I'm guessing. And it's just time to bite the bullet, I guess, and face the music and, jump off the end of the pier and, all those expressions, come into mind. So, I got to get off my lazy butt and do something. So,
And
so nothing going on.
All right. And thank you, Greg, for coming. He does spoiler-free reviews, so make sure to check out his channel. And thank you, Basil Battledragon, for coming. He has some live streams on his channel now, so make sure to check him out. And thank you, Matt Arnold, for coming. Now he has cover songs on his channel, 3D printing, and he has a stream called Matt's Chat, so make sure to check him out. And thank you, Curtis Fact Check, for coming. Curtis, you want to promote him?
Curtis Fact Check. He's a teacher. He's a prepper. He's a real go-getter. I don't know. I don't know how to describe him, but he's probably the most learned person I know when it comes to history and to those kinds of things. He does have a small channel. I don't know if he cares for it to be promoted or not, but if you go there, you will be entertained. Really solid human being. And he has had successful channels in the past, but because of unfortunate censorship type issues, he's kind of given up on that. But he does have a channel, and he probably wouldn't mind, if you stop by and watched a video or two. So,
all right, thank you. But thank you, DJ Ryan G. That's on your channel, Chris. You want to promote him?
DJ Ronnie G does some things largely with science related. He's done some videos that taught me some things about technology that I didn't know, and he also applies to it with the political policies that are kind of backward in the way our science is implemented. So please check him out. He's got some really good stuff, some really informative stuff.
Yeah. So
I will say this, judging by how many channels he has on Curtis's channel, we'll just have him promote all of us now.
And thank you, Allah Bill, for coming. He does karaoke, then he has all kinds of different stuff coming up. And thank you, Charlotte, for coming. She has some great music videos, and she's been doing watch parties and an occasional live stream there. And so, all righty, sit down. What do you got going on?
All right, to all your chatters and viewers that know me or don't know me, especially on the panel, Sci-Fi Sit Down, I usually cover different sci-fi TV shows or movies. I do my Dark Matter 2015 TV show watch parties on Wednesdays, usually at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, if my co-host is available to join me on those. And I do my live streams on my main channel, Sci-Fi Sit Down, usually on Saturdays between 2 and 4 p.m. Pacific time. And I try to upload a new video on my primary channel at the end of the previous week or the beginning of the next week. And I do cross streams with my fellow community members like Gorilla Sister Thoughts and Resolute Germ if they will allow it. They usually do that, and they're nice guys for that. And I have a secondary channel called Ultimate Sorcerer Dan. On that, I cover Japanese anime, and currently we're doing the Overlord watch parties. It's a Japanese anime. We're moving on to season 4 of that show. It's a dark fantasy series. If you guys like adult dark themed anime, check that out. I do a watch party on that anime series on Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Usually after Gorilla Sister Thoughts of Walton streams. If any of you are waking up to watch that with me with my fellow co-host too. And beyond that, every new watch minute for all of us here in Watch Hour, it encourages us to make more content for you, as well as hopefully make a few dollars off YouTube besides our day jobs. I'll turn it over to Mikey to give his own little self-promotion, then back to Gorilla so he doesn't fall asleep on this stream.
All right, since we missed my 2-hour mark here, just a sec.
Gently extend your arm. Extend your middle finger. Very good.
I love that truck driver. That truck driver's expression when his eyes bug out like that gets me every single time I see it. It's hilarious.
It's priceless. It's priceless.
It is. It's a great moment in cinema history.
Yeah. Okay, so as for me here at Mikey Seuss 4, as you know, every Monday through Thursday, right around the 1 p.m. mark Eastern time, we always talk about 4 great shows known as Red Dwarf, TOS, Get Smart, and A-Team. I like working with Gorilla on his Firefly shows he does on Thursdays, his Walton shows especially. I feel most blessed and honored to be a part of an eclectic panel group there that talks about the Waltons from way back in the day. And we have so much fun with it. Of course, poor Gorilla gets a lot of strikes, but hey, he doesn't give a shit. So you don't care. You don't care.
I want all but 2 of the Waltons ones.
Yeah, there we go. But also, Sifdan is humble, but I love when he helps me out as a co-host on our Star Trek and Star Wars fan films that we do every other Sunday, or I'm sorry, every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. We have 1 week is the Star Trek and the next week is the Star Wars. We're actually taking hiatus for about 3 weeks because we have things we got to do, Suzanne and I, personal lives. And then, of course, we also have Easter going on. So we just want to kind of, be able to enjoy some of that time together. But I guarantee as soon as Easter's over, we will get right back with the fan films. And the next one we're going to cover is actually called Heir to the Empire, which is one of the books that came out after the events of the on Endor, and it actually covers Grand Admiral Thrawn. So that should be a wonderful fan film that we're going to cover in about 3 weeks. So make sure you watch Mikey Seuss 4. Always expect the unexpected, everybody and everyone all at once. There you go, Gorilla.
All right, thank you. And Curtis, what you got going on?
Well, I'm still kind of evaluating how I want to handle my dispute thing with YouTube. But for now, all I'm going to promise is I'm going to keep doing the Sunday Voice of Northern Oklahoma, where I'll basically start by sharing the little quaint things that happen here in Northern Oklahoma, and then end with like this last time, one of my channel members shared this amazing video that ended it in a strong note. I think about going back to the Tuesday and Thursday streams, but I just don't know that I want to work that hard if it's not going to go somewhere.
3 weeks.
But I get to reapply on the 10th.
Get things done.
And so I'm going to be doing a lot of editing and seeing what I can do. And if I do get monetized, I'll proceed like I did before, with Tuesday, Thursdays, and then Sunday I'll do the Voice of Northern Oklahoma. So,
all right.
I have a quick question for Curtis. Did you get demonetized then? I wasn't aware of this.
I was not. Well, I've never been, but I got to the point where I could apply.
Okay.
And they turned me down because I had harmful material.
Oh, that's silly. Oh, because you're talking political stuff.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep.
Well, it could be a number of things. I'm wondering if it was the 9/11 stream. You actually show footage of it.
I've taken that one down, and I've basically been going through and trying to find things that I think might, to their minds at least, be legitimate, quote unquote.
I just want to encourage you, Curtis, to go ahead and reapply and don't give up, because when I first started on here like four plus years ago now, I guess it is. One of the first channels I subbed to was a channel called Canadian Stud Muffin, and I know it's a silly name, but the guy was hilarious because he did a lot of really creative comedy videos.
That's cool.
With a lot of cool special effects and stuff, and basically now he's like a music channel, right? Like the guy's a Beatles fanatic for sure. But he was going along. He's been on like 14 years on YouTube, right? Like since it started almost. He was, making money off his channel because he's got subs. And then, like 6 months ago, they suddenly demonetized his ass, right? And because he's on a pension, right? So he likes that little bit of supplementary income, from the tube. Yeah. Anyway, he had a 3-month window, I think, had to wait to reapply. And I encouraged him, and all of us, us fans, we encouraged him in the chat because he is very communicative with us in the chat. Like he often responds and gives a little heart thing at least, right? Cool. And he did reapply, and he won. He actually won and got his funding back. So it can happen. So I just say try and stay positive. Try and stay
absolutely
positive.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. As for me, I'm gonna try to do another cigar launch tomorrow. No promises though, but I'm gonna try. Let's see. Thursday we'll have 2 more episodes of Firefly, and then Friday the Waltons episode, The Secret, which that's a halfway decent one, and then Sunday, because PvP begged for us to watch a movie because he wants to watch a guy change it to 21 different Speedos. We're going to watch The Swimmer.
Oh, gosh. I hope I'm not going to miss all of it. Well, I'm going to miss a lot of this. Damn. Where's bloody time for my computer to break down? Because, I was looking forward to that.
Well, we can always change it on Sunday if we need to.
I'll tell you what, Gorilla. If I disappear for the next couple of days, it's obviously why, because my computer is in the repair shop. So if you would, if you don't hear from me, if I don't show up for the Walton stream on Friday, something's definitely wrong, right? So, yeah. And I hate to even think about missing Firefly, but I probably will, I guess. But that said, if you wouldn't mind maybe putting the swimmer off for another week, a week from Sunday, that might be better. Just saying.
Okay. Hey, Gorilla, have you done Spartacus yet?
That's a rather personal question, isn't it?
That's all.
I'm saying that if we get to see the swimmer with you want Burt Lancaster. Yeah. Right. So if we get to see Burt Lancaster in swimsuits, we should go for it and see Kirk Douglas in a thong for Spartacus.
Okay, no guys in fucking thongs there. Bad enough, like I see a guy in Speedo. I'm not saying a guy. And with that, everybody have a good night. Remember to be a gorilla. Courtesy guy in closing words.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night, Gracie.
There you
go. Oh my God.
We've been stopping, speeding through the night, rising like gorillas.